What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to be with you. Mr. Meldrum, good afternoon, sir.
What up?
What is up? Welcome to Google for Real Estate Agents. We are excited to be with you guys. We haven't been with you since before the holiday, but happy to get back to our regular scheduled programming here. So today is going to be a good one. We're going to get in the weeds on how we build content endlessly. Like where does that steady flow of ideas come from? Because I don't know if you're anything like Eric or I, but we definitely struggle with the notion of having to come up with a new video concept or new content every single week. It is one of the most stressful things that we had found when we got our channels up and running. Eric, is that fair to say?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta, have a little bit of a boost and a reset.
Yep.
You just run out of ideas, and you feel like the same things are getting old, getting stale, and that's not uncommon to just human nature.
Yeah.
You need change.
Yeah, and sometimes like just going in a different direction, like going a different place than you normally go to create is helpful in that respect too. But today we're going to give you some solid concepts, techniques, if you will, on how to do that. And we're going to do that in 3 different facets today. We're going to talk about the systems that we use, the processes, and the people. Okay, so that's going to be our focus and conversation. And Eric, one of the things I thought we should do here as we get rolling with this into the future, and for those of you who don't know, we designed this as a free resource. There's nothing here for you to buy from us. So there's no course on the back end of this you have to pay for. There is a free school community. We'll point you to that. Actually, it's going to be in the description down below where you can go and get those resources, but I'm not here to ask you for anything. What we're doing is we're taking other real estate agents along with us on our YouTube journey. And if you're not familiar with us, 3.5 years ago, we launched our YouTube channels. It'll be 4 years in August for me. Eric's been a little over 4 years, I think. Since he launched his channel in Michigan, and we generated over $1.3 million in GCI, actually 1.4 in GCI in a very short period of time. And we're grateful to share our journey. And if you are new to us, I just wanted to share that with you. My name is Juan Alcala. This is Eric Meldrum, as you can see on the screen here. And we run a team called the True Living Group, where I am based out of Tampa. And Eric, you are based out of where?
So as I'm here, Brighton, Michigan.
Brighton, Michigan. So just a little bit west of Metro Detroit, closer to the Ann Arbor area, if you're familiar with that. And our goal here is to make this community the #1 free real estate source for YouTube. So that is the goal here. So I'm glad you're with us. And today we're going to get into our content ideas, because the #1 thing that we see other people struggle with is, what do I say? Right? What do I say? And as we shared right when we walked in the door here, we struggle with that too. And we're going to give you 2 different like paths today. And we're going to show you like the beginner's journey, if you will. And then we'll show you the, I want to say the pro version, but where we are today. Right, Eric? So like we'll show them where we are in peoples and processes and systems, but we're also going to share those resources with you so you can kind of plug and play based upon your current business, right? Because how we operate may not be how you're going to operate, and vice versa. Okay, so just sharing that with you. But what I want to do, Eric, on these live streams, I think once a month, I would like to give a recap of what's actually going on in our world. Right? Like what are the results from our efforts so far? And I know most people don't do this, and I actually don't know if it's against YouTube's policy. So forgive me. What I mean by that is I don't know if we're supposed to share how much money people do. I'm doing it anyways, but I'm going to show you our Florida account. So I'm going to make that commitment to the audience here so you guys can kind of see this. And I know we're early in the month here, but I just want to kind of give you some insights because we're halfway through the month. It's the 15th, correct?
Yep.
Right. And I think this is helpful before we get into the training so you can understand why we're doing this, because just showing up and giving content we have a YouTube channel that fills that need for us. Here, we're here because we have a strong calling to contribution. We love this. And to be quite honest, I'm trying to attract other agents who are doing the same thing so we can get better. right? That networking, that sharpening of swords, if you will. And this is a great project for us. Okay. We love doing it. We're happy to connect with you. So if that's us, reach out to us on Instagram. You can see our handles there. And of course, join the school community because you'll be able to directly interact with us there also. Make sense? Sound good to you too, Eric?
Let's do it.
Awesome. He just lets me run wild, y'all. He has no idea what I'm going to say on these calls, which is, I don't know how he does it. I lose my mind, but he's able to just sit back and let me run here. So happy to do it. And I'm going to let Eric answer that while we get into the comments here. Good morning. Good morning, Denise. Pleasure to see you. Shout out to Greenville, South Carolina, I believe. Make sure I got that in the right spot. And then we got Maria as well. Maria, thank you. And if you guys have questions during this, please feel free to make this interactive. I'm not trying to speak from a pulpit, if you will. The more questions you guys have, the better this content's going to be. So much so I'm going to prove that to you here in a minute, and show you what that looks like in real time with our prospective clients. So I encourage you to let us know where you're watching from and who you serve, number one, because as you start to do this more often, other people are going to recognize that, and that's a referral potential coming your way. If they know you're part of your community and they know that you're trying to accomplish the same things. So that'd be the first thing I'd recommend. And then also, if you have questions, please feel free to bring those too. Okay, so I think that that's a great approach. Awesome. So let's get into this, Eric. Let's get into what's happening in our world right now. And again, I just kind of figured that this would be a really nice add-in to our meetings. Okay, so again, I think I'm going to do this once a month. Share with you guys what's happening on our Tampa channel. Maybe we'll show you Michigan on one month and Tampa on the other. We're just trying to give you guys some perspective. But as of right now, as you can see things, and right now they're asking me to do a survey. That happens from time to time. Once you become a partner in YouTube, and that's when you get 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. That's when when you qualify for your monetization. And then you can also earn money from the ads they run on your platform. So just giving you a sense of perspective there. But we're 406 subscribers in the last 28 days. It's not a huge month for us, honestly. It's about half of what we were doing in the summer, but we do have these ebbs and flows, and I'll show you in some of this data later. But the big thing here is we talked about what videos we were going to do. If you've been following this journey in YouTube for real estate agents, and again, if you've missed any of these episodes, they're in the YouTube playlist, and you can find them in the school community broke out. Okay, so they're in there. And follow that path. This is designed to teach you from zero to hero. Okay, but if you've been following that journey, you knew that Eric and I were going to go back and redo our top 5 videos. Right. And Eric, did we do that over the holidays?
We did.
We did that over the holidays.
Beginning of every year. We start the year off with those pillars.
Exactly. And, our last video was, what are your top 5 videos? Well, we remade all of those videos again for 2025, and we're going to show you some of the content. We're going to show you some of the analytics here. But the big thing I want to do is just kind of give you guys some insights as what's going on behind the curtain, and also the results, right? The video views are one thing, and we share this often, but that's really one of those vanity metrics. It's important that people watch. Without their viewership, we got no chance of converting clients. That's a reality. Okay. So I'm not saying it's unimportant, but I treat it like the scale. If I'm working out, right, if I'm doing a lot of weightlifting, it's possible and probable that I could put on muscle while I'm burning fat. And you don't see these real tangible results on the scale right away. And I'm speaking of this from experience, even though it doesn't look like it now. Speaking from experience, but your clothes start to feel different. Right. And it's because you're becoming well, right? You're putting on a little bit of muscle mass, you're tearing down some fat, but all of a sudden you start to shrink, maybe your waist goes down or a blouse fits larger, whatever, right? Just giving you that perspective. Well, views are similar to how I approach the scale. Is that a fair analogy, Eric? Like the way that we look at it as a team?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's a good indication of the weight of your channel and like what's happening on a day-to-day basis.
Right. But remembering that with YouTube for real estate agents, our primary goal here is not to have the broadest reach, right? Like I serve Tampa, this channel serves Tampa, or people wanting to move to Tampa. So while it would be cool to have everybody across the country watching these videos, most likely those people aren't going to be the ones reaching out to our team, which is how we monetize as realtors, right? We get paid by helping someone accomplish their goal. So we got to get them to reach out to us. And that's the primary function, not the view. We've had videos with very low view performance, 200 to 300, that people have called me directly and said, I saw the video that you did X, and then they were our client, right? Obviously, we put them through a process, but we have videos that have 200 to 400 views that have had multiple clients sign with us because of that one video. Now, that may have been the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. And they watched multiple other videos, but that was the one that they told us when they were on the phone. So I'm sharing that with you because I also have videos that have hundreds of thousands of views. And they, while we get a lot of views and it feels good and we pick up new subscribers and having a chance to build a relationship, which is the real goal here, without the reach outs, none of this matters. Right. So that's the big thing. So when you're looking at this stuff, okay, great. And you look at the numbers, right? 68,000, almost 70,000 or 69,000 views. But when you go down and look at what's happening here, we're on the lower end of how we normally perform. And this happened because we had a couple videos pop off big. And that's that's why I was pointing to this, because I would rather stay in my pocket and grow steadily with the right audience than go really, really wide and attract a bunch of people that aren't for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a major point. I just had it was a first for me. I was on a Zoom call with a client reaching out to move to Michigan, and they said they reached out to me because of the sheer number of videos that we had on the channel.
Yep.
And that I kind of took a second. I'm like, huh, the number of videos, right? So like goes back to that consistency thing.
Yep.
Right. Put in the coins, and you may not see it for the next 5 months, right? You may not see the views where you would expect it, but those aren't the metrics that you should really be paying attention to on a day-to-day basis. This is an overall health of the channel. Like if nobody's watching, you got different problems.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's a huge point, Eric. So thank you for that. And I don't want to stay too far in the weeds here, but I just want to start up by sharing what we've done so far. Right. So let's go this year to date. Let's just do that because I haven't done it yet. And then this is what we've done so far in 2025. Now, even though you saw that we were down based upon that last 28-day stretch, look what's happened here in the last 15 days. Right. And why is this happening? Well, Eric and I know why it's happening. Our team knows why it's happening because we rolled out the top 5 videos. Right? Pretty simple in our world, right, Eric? This isn't complicated. We roll out the top 5 every single time. And we know that these videos perform. And here's the evidence, right? Almost 40,000 views in 15 days, which again, may or may not sound like a lot, but 4,600 hours of watch time, y'all. 4,600 hours of people, right, consuming our content. And YouTube also let me know that this week that 50% of them are watching on television, which if you think about that, it's mind-blowing. Picked up 248 new subscribers to build a relationship with in the hopes of serving them in the future. Pretty awesome, right? Pretty awesome. Okay, now let's get into how that translates elsewhere. So if we go to our Calendly account, if we go into our Calendly account and we filter down for, oh, they changed this filter again. Usually know exactly what got on here. Okay. Let's do the date range. Let's do January 1st through the end of the month just to see how many we've got scheduled. 16 events. And one of these events was scheduled with a potential teammate of ours. So we're 15 days in, Eric, and 15 of these meetings. We've had 15 scheduled Calendly meetings so far this year.
It's a meeting a day.
A meeting a day. All right. And if we go over to Lofty, which is our CRM, which apparently I'm logged out of, which means somebody was in there getting some info. If we go into Lofty and we look at our filters and say by source, no, sorry, we go registration date. Make sure I got it right. And we go this year. We have had 36 new opportunities come in our system as well. If we narrow that down to YouTube, it's going to be right around 25 to 30. We've had some of our team members and ourselves get referrals or pick up clients from or opportunities from open house. So sharing that with you in real time, y'all. Okay. Now I want to get into the weeds a little bit about what we're trying to accomplish today. And bear with me, right? If you rolled in here just hoping for the meat, I think that that's important, but I think it's even more important for you to understand what we're looking at, right? What we're measuring and how we're approaching this before we go with the content. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. I'll make sure we share that with you. Craig, what's up, my man? He said he's in British Columbia. Shout out to you, dude. Hopefully you're staying warm up there. And then Maria says, I use Lofty also. Yeah, we love it. We've been on, what, 3 years, Eric?
Yeah, 2021. We onboarded with them.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a very valuable resource, but let's get into this because I think this is super important. All right. When it comes to content ideas on demand, I'm going to show you 3 things: our systems, we're going to talk about both for new people and for, again, how our machine runs, but we're going to talk about systems, processes, and people. That's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to share with you guys where the resources are where we come up with these ideas. I'm also going to show you some new things we've been testing and trying, and hopefully that helps you. Okay. And I'm going to start with the basics because this is where everybody usually trips up. And what do I mean by that? All right. Systems. Systems. There is that quote, Eric, in the Atomic Habits book where James Clear says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your what? Systems, right? And I can honestly say that I thought that was the biggest crock of crap for probably the first 40. Well, if you asked Eric, it'd be 45 and a half, maybe even 47. If you ask my wife, it would be the same thing too. But I'm telling you guys right now, I used to think that premise to me just didn't make sense because I was like, I can outwork anything. And the further and further along we got in our real estate journey and our business journey, the farther that I got away from that truth. And what I mean by that is like when you've only got one thing to accomplish, right? Maybe it's you're calling your past clients or your prospect, whatever it is. When you only got that one thing to accomplish, it's very easy to stay on task, right? When you start adding more business in your world, maybe some of you have been at a point where you've had 10 contracts at one time. Like that's a lot to juggle for any one human. And no matter how good you are, it's pretty easy to forget things. Isn't that fair to say, Eric, once you get to that level?
Yeah, I think I've forgotten more than I know in this industry.
For sure. I forgot in general, right? But what has happened is I have had to rely more and more and more on these systems in order to deliver me reminders above anything else. Like it's cool that they get me the thing that I need. And I'm going to share these things with you guys. But the biggest thing these tools do, these systems, as you will, is they don't allow me to forget, right? You just saw our Lofty account. You saw our Calendly account, right? That's the behavior behind the words that are coming out of my mouth. And I think that's super important because a lot of the times, Eric, people start talking about this stuff, but they're not actually practicing any of it, right? And while some of these things may feel overwhelming or complicated, I'm here to let you know, you can break them down to the simplest tools, right? Calendly is nothing other than our Google account. That's my Google Calendar. I live and die by that thing. If you guys looked at it, you would see all of those meetings automatically in there. Now we choose to use Calendly, and I'm just using that as the example here, because what it did is it removed the potential of Eric and myself or anyone on our team failing on the meetings. Well, what does that mean? Eric, I don't know about you, but I've been, in the middle of talking to a client, got off the phone, started to type the email, set the reminder in my phone, and either the kids walked in, right, and something was going sideways. Something happened at my house, right? Or this is what usually happens. The phone rings again, and now you're off in another conversation. And I know some of you are disciplined enough to not answer that phone, but I've been trained in the ways of real estate Jedis, which are answer the damn phone. Right? So you want to answer the phone.
I also think it removes a unnecessary step. And that's the thing that we've always really looked at before, because not everybody does the jump right to the Zoom call.
Yep.
There's a lot of other teams that even we know, that don't utilize that, and they're relying on contact information coming in. Yep. And same thing as an internet lead, right? It's speed to lead. You got to go contact them. You got to, ask all the same questions. But what the Calendly account does is really gives a higher intent. And I think the number of people that fill out the form, it's a 2-step process, like fill out the form and then they have to schedule a Calendly call. So we have their information already. And I would say 95, if not higher than that, are booking the Calendly call.
Yeah. Yep.
So
That's a whole other conversation.
It removes that step. You don't have to worry about it going back. Like now there's a con to this, right? Which is your calendar is open, right? And you can set that,
Yeah.
but that's what you want in your real estate business. You want meetings showing up, right? I don't want to go back and forth and like, hey, what time works for you? 3? No, I got a showing at that time. Oh, I got this at that time. Like live and die by your calendar. Make sure everything's on there. I know everything to worry about.
Yep. Yeah. And again, systems, right? Ultimately, the intent of this conversation was to share with you, like, not only are we sharing them as, again, the words that are coming out of our mouth, but trying to show you guys as much as we possibly can, right? We're trying to just be as transparent because I know these are the hard things. When I was learning new skills, I always wanted to know the what, right, Eric, all the time. But like, then I came to find out how was more important, right? How is more important. So let's talk about where you get these endless content ideas. Okay. So I would really want to break this down and give you guys some tactical and also give you some resources. So the first thing that I recommend for anybody who is doing this, because this is free 99. And I know a lot of my real estate brothers and sisters are always hyper focused on how much resources cost, which is an interesting thing to me, because we expect people to pay us for our expertise, but we don't like to pay them for theirs. It's very weird. Maybe that's not you, but hey, I'm not. What it is, what it is. But the number one free resource for you to get content on demand about your local market area or the macro real estate, meaning the top level, is Google Alerts. And if you've never ever used this before, I used Google Alerts, I think for the last 5 or 6 years. And it was my number one resource for getting information about local real estate market news. Okay. And anything that comes out on a daily basis will be curated by Google. It does it by popularity. I don't know exactly how the algorithm works, but I'm going to give you an example. So if, let's just say, I know we got, these sellers on the call here, right? So like if we type in Phoenix real estate, you can create an alert for this that will literally, and you saw all the topics is just populated immediately, and you can create an alert, and this is going to send it directly to your email at a scheduled time every single day. You can also amplify this as it happens, so you can do it in real time. I could not handle that in my inbox. I would lose my mind. So I get this scheduled once a day. Okay. I don't do the once a week. And then you can send it to any of your Gmail accounts if you want. Okay. And you can filter through here, only the best results, all results. You can look at regions specifically. You can narrow it down. But what I do is literally this simple, right? Or if you're trying to niche down on a very specific, maybe it's a very specific demographic. Maybe you work with 55 plus in your area. Like, this is how you find all the relevant information about seniors and have it delivered to your inbox on a daily basis, which is fascinating, for free. What a great tool. You put it in there, set the time, frequency, duration, boom, it comes to your inbox. I love Google Alerts. I don't know that I'll ever unsubscribe. It does find things that the other resources miss. So I love it. Okay. This is a great resource. And again, you can have more than one. Awesome. Awesome. So when we talk about our systems, Google's number one. Google Calendar, if you don't have it. Google Notes, Google Docs, they provide all that stuff to you. So I just love it as a resource. Okay, the next resource we use, and this is my baby over the last probably year and a half. I'm not going to get into the weeds of why I use this above and beyond all the other platforms, but I also use Google Alerts, like I told you. I use different forms of AI. We'll get into that in a minute here. But this allows me to sign up. Do y'all remember back in the day? Maybe some of you aren't old enough to remember this, but all the websites we used to go to had this little 3, look like speaker volume coming off of it up here on the corner here. Well, that is the RSS feed, and a lot of blogs, a lot of websites still have an RSS feed. And all that means is you're able to, that's a broadcast signal is what they're saying. Hey, we are willing to allow whatever system you use to connect to our system to pull this information back to you, because not everybody does that, right? That is what the MLS does. As an example, it's broadcasting information that other subscribers are able to connect to. So I use this source, and what this allows me to do is sign up for newsletters and emails and blogs and just websites that I search on a daily basis about not only real estate, but my community. So I'll give you guys an example here, right? This first one is Housing Wire. I have a subscription to Housing Wire. Okay, well, I don't want to have to go to all of these different websites every day. And I'm going to show you all these different websites that I'm using on here right now. This isn't even to be all of them, and I can go in the preferences and show you. But you got Housing Wire, St. Pete Rising, which is a local lifestyle magazine. Florida Realtors, because I am a Florida realtor. That's So Tampa. Again, this is a local blog that is great. You got Housing Wire on here again. Realtor.com. Let me see here. Hub Wallet or Wallet Hub. This is one of my favorite for like statistical information. They keep track of like mortgage prices and insurance costs and anything financial. They have the pulse of, and it's great. We have Redfin as a subscription. God, there's so many in here. I don't know. I got to show them all at one time. But I'm showing you an example. So your local rags, we got CoreLogic in here, very large real estate firms. That's another one. And then when you go into our emails, specifically, let me see here. Pull up an email for you guys. I don't know if I should show that because there's going to be other stuff in there. In my email, I also get Forbes, right? Maybe the New York Times. I subscribe to all of this information, but what ReadWise does is it pulls it in for me and puts it all in one location. And then how I use this content every day is I start looking at it. The titles that grab my attention, I don't try to read every one of these. No one is capable. Well, let me rephrase that. Someone probably is, right, Eric? But it ain't me. It ain't me. I can't read all of this, even though it's, it's pretty digestible. But what I do here, and here's the trick, and I'm trying to share this with everybody. Here's the tangible nugget from what I'm showing you right now. Whether it's Google Alerts, your newspaper, your inbox, whatever title grabs you, that's an indication that might be worth reading. And that's how I treat this resource. I don't read every one of these articles every day. As a matter of fact, I delete probably 80% of them. And then I'll read the other 20 or 10% that intrigue me, and I'm only skimming them. And if something in there is worth digging down on, I got my content idea. If I'm interested in it, usually so is our clients. So that's a great tool. Okay. Next one, I'm not qualified to talk about on this list, but I'm telling you guys right now, I have been in the weeds looking at AI agents for the last 3 weeks. And that does not make me an expert. That's why I'm not going to speak to it. But here's what I know. From an automation perspective, the things that I am already doing manually, I know that soon, and these resources already exist to be able to build an AI agent to deliver this type of curated content to me every single day. Okay, I'm doing that through ReadWise right now, but pretty soon I'm going to be able to teach the machine. And I think just yesterday, ChatGPT launched ChatGPT Task, which is that's an AI agent. More to come on this. This is Eric's lane. This is his house. I'm not putting him on notice here that he has to train you guys on this, but him and I are going to be working through this in terms of our systems. Again, we're always looking to grow too. But my number one resource is ReadWise, and the best free resource I've ever seen is Google Alerts. Hands down. So I think those are two very practical applications, and I think our ReadWise subscription is like $10 a month or something. It's nominal, and it attaches to so many other things. So not going to get too far in the weeds on that, but it's a great tool. Okay, so that's the first thing I want everybody to kind of wrap their mind around. All right, next thing is processes, okay? All right, so now we know where to find new content ideas, right? It's coming from all over the internet. That's what Google Alerts allows you to do. And then you can refine more and get into the stuff that you love on Rewise. So that's why I gave you those two things. One's free, one's paid. Both are awesome. Next thing is processes. Okay. So the very first thing I put on here, we started by showing you the back end of our YouTube channel right now. And if you guys are joining us late, welcome to YouTube for Real Estate Agents. Today we're talking about content ideas on demand. I encourage you to go back and watch the beginning. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, do yourself a favor and do that. Hit the notification bell. That way you don't have to rely on a calendar. Again, systems, allow them to work for you too, right? All right, now we get into the process. Scheduling research time. Eric, were you able to get any videos of any meaningful quality done or be confident in your delivery until you started scheduling time to do your homework for your video?
No, that was a tough one for me, and this kind of goes into your personality a little bit. If you're somebody who can, just off the cuff, just start yapping and, spit out all the details, that might be you, but I don't suspect that's majority of the people. That's the exception to the rule. Right? And I fall into that exception to the rule, or I don't fall into that exception to the rule, I should say. It was difficult for me.
Yeah. I agree. And even at the most basic of levels, and let me show you guys what I mean by this. So we'll get into some like old school at the beginning of our journey, our outlines. I think this is important to show. Bear with me. I'm digging them up. I am digging them up. Oh, cool. We just had something happen in our, here's great. Speaking of systems and processes. So while I'm looking for that info, here's our inbox right now as we're with you guys live. So someone went to our website and they filled out a form that will lead them to our calendar, right? So we got a new submission, and if they went all the way through, answered the form, and went to calendar, then I'll have a brand new Zoom call actually booked with that person. But they may have not done that yet. We'll get to that shortly. But what a cool thing to have happen, right, Eric? This is the whole goal. Has nothing to do those views. Now, do you see why we don't care about the views? We want those forms filled out, right? That's the most important thing for us as we work through this together. But Eric, what are some of the original, like, I'm trying to go to the content folder. Let's go to the shared drive. I want to get back into some like the old outlines we did on our research.
The ones that like you and I were doing?
Yeah, originally.
Yeah, I would say like April of last year.
April of last year. Okay. And I wasn't planning on doing this in real time, y'all, so forgive us. We just figured we'd work through this. Okay, let's go all the way back. Here you go. Top 10 worst neighborhood. Let me work on this. Oh, here's a really old one. So we're gonna pull up like these old videos that we used to work on and our outlines. So you guys can kind of get a feel for that. So here's a great example. St. Petersburg. All right. This video, this is an example of that process and what it looks like. Okay. So this is a Google Doc. Forgive the grammar and the spelling out. Like this is just how we outline these videos. And yes, we'll be going here and take the time to do like, yes, I had to learn how to get better on camera. Now, was I reading this word for word on camera? No. What this was is an outline, but I shared with you guys before I script my hooks. Now, I don't remember if I was scripting them then. You can see a script here, but I don't know if I was actually using it. And what I mean by that is I would just look at it and go, okay, all right, I know how I want this video to feel, and I'd kind of roll it out. But eventually I started using this word for word. But you can see here, here's our framework, or here's our hook, here's our intro. I used to literally have to remind myself every single word, what I had to say. And then here's the content. And we be getting down here, cost of living, weather. As you can see, this is not, there's no way that this is word for word. And what I mean by that is that these are outlines. Now, I worked very well in that respect, but I couldn't get on here and remember all this stuff, right, Eric? You couldn't either.
No.
Right? So what we would do is we would jump on camera and we'd talk about the cost of living. And I gave myself a couple reminders. Okay. I wanted to talk about housing costs and rents continue to rise. I don't know why I picked those, but at this time, which was like 2021, that's why I picked them. Okay. And then what those were is like those mental prompts for me. Okay. I'm talking about the cost of living. I need to hit this and this. And then I would just go because I can talk to my local market. And what that allows you to do is be very real on camera, like I'm doing with you guys now. I don't script these out. Today I had 3 bullet points, right? And then I'm working through it with you. And some of you are watching, you go, yeah, I can tell. But guess what? I'm doing it, which is by the very nature making us better. Okay. So it has to happen in real time. But this is an example of what that looked like. Okay. So we would line that out, and even down to the end there where it says, I go through my top 10, and at the end, what is my call to action? CTA stands for call to action, y'all. And this is probably really small. Nobody's complained. I'm shocked. Not a single person complained in the chat there. But you get down to call to action there, and then our sign off. What is our sign off? That we call it an outro now, by the way. It's changed, but it's still the same thing. And you can see there, until next time, go out and live the Tampa life. Like, I literally had to remind myself of everything.
Yeah. When you think about like how movies are made, they don't make a movie without some sort of script.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They have a shot list. They have a script for the actors. They have a script for the set, right? On what the camera angles are going to be, shot angles and all that. Cam 1, they'll shoot the same scene probably 15 different ways.
Yep.
Right. And that's all documented in the script. All right. So like that alone is enough to like, oh, well, movies don't just wing it. Yep. They don't just hop on and start rifling off. Like, you can't possibly make a quality video that you're going to be proud of without a script, without some sort of guidance, in terms of, even if it's a shot list of like, I need to go out and I need to get B-roll of X, Y, and Z in the city. And then I need to talk about A, B, and C, right? This neighborhood, that neighborhood, these shopping centers, these price points of real estate, this subdivision, it's brand new. Like, you have to. Otherwise, you're just running around with your head cut off thinking, yep, I'm going to get enough content to make a video.
Yeah. And I will say this, if this is where you want to put the most work in. So I started with schedule your research time on purpose, because I just showed you where to research, right? Your Google alerts can be delivered to you, and your Readwise account can be delivered to you every morning before you ever even have to think. You can grab your coffee and sit down, and there it is, right? And I consider that part of my research time. Okay. Now it's not scheduled on my calendar as research time. That is, it's my devotion. That's when I read the Bible. And then that is also when I read all of the rags. And I do it every day. It's not even up for debate. I wake up, I hyperhydrate, I get a cup of coffee, I sit down, and for an hour every day, that is my process. Now, this isn't when I'm sitting here in front of my computer ready to start an outline or anything. That's a different process. But if you schedule that in your calendar, right? So Eric, again, living with our actions, not just our words, right? If we go inside of our calendar here, and share that with you guys as a community. Let me kill everybody else's. Share that with you as a community. You guys will see it in real time. So, on 7 to 9 on Monday and Friday, I'm in Clubhouse. Here's my team meeting. Here's here I was with a client at their home orientation. Here was a Zoom call with the prospective client, right? You can see some of the family stuff in there too. But here's the video time, right? My video block is huge. That's my research. That's my content. Right, here we are on Wednesday. Here's Content Club, right? I start prepping at 10 a.m. for you guys. We meet at 11, and then I'm sorry, this is YouTube for real estate agents, but we do Content Club right behind this. So that is done. Then you can see I've got 2 more client meetings. Again, video again on Thursday. It's scheduled, and people are like, "Well, when do you sell real estate?" Well, we actually do really well in that category. These meetings are coming to me. I'm not going to them. And that's the big focus here. That's not us trying to flex. That's the reality of it, right? And then you see on the weekend here. So as we share this stuff with you guys, understand that we're doing it in real time, right? And it's a game changer, right? It's an absolute game changer. So this is why we're so passionate about it. All right, let me get back to what I wanted to share with you guys next. So again, scheduling that research time and scheduling your production time. Those are the two most important things. If you do those, I promise you, you'll make content every week. All right. Here's the other thing. Ask your network. So we just showed you where to look and how to find content that way. But another thing you can do is ask your network. So I'm going to take you guys to an example of what happened in real time here. If we go over to our YouTube dashboard and we go back to our content from the week, we go to our live stream, and my live stream from last Tuesday, I wanted to actually do this for you guys in real time. Two things. Number one, I wanted content ideas from our audience, but I wanted to do this so I could come back and show you this week. So we're going to look at the results together. And what I mean by that is this video, and it's going to start playing. Hopefully it doesn't play the audio because it'll get hijacked. I'll show you this in a second. Oh, we can just go right in the comments, can't we, Eric? My bad. Let me do that. Perfect. So on this live stream last week, that's really small, and I know it's going to be hard to read, but I'm going to read it to you guys. On this live stream last week, I jumped on live and said, hey, thank you for everything in 2024. You guys were awesome. But I don't want to assume that I know everything about what you're looking for when it comes to living here in Tampa Bay. So I need your help as an audience. I literally started the entire video that way. I said, I would love to know what type of videos you want to see from us this year. What type of real estate content would you like to see? What type of lifestyle content would you? I just opened it wide open for them. And the comments went crazy. The engagement, we had the best engagement we've ever had on a live stream. We had over 80 comments. It was nuts, Eric. 80 comments. People were going wild. They told us all kinds of things. And there was really cool ideas that I had not considered. Some of them may not be the exact thing that I want to make. But what I was looking for in there is I was looking for patterns. All right. If you see multiple people saying the same thing, that's usually a strong indication that that's a place to start. If you see other angles in there that you know that you've been having conversations about that for whatever reason have not shook out on video for you, that's another great place to look at. But I want to show you some of these comments. I know they're a little bit small and hard to read, so let me see if I can blow them up at all. Maybe well, it's probably too big now, isn't it? Yeah, gosh dog. But let me just read some. I'm going to highlight some of these for you guys. All right. My intent here is not to read at you. Okay. Just give you some example. I'm watching from Southern Illinois. It's 21 degrees out. There's still thousands of people without power. We're lucky we haven't lost power. God is definitely getting me ready for hurricane season when I get there this spring. We're renting, but your videos have been very helpful. Okay, cool. She's renting, may not be our client ever, but may turn into a potential sale. But she's sharing what's going on in her world. This is important. Why? Because those are the reasons that people are wanting to move. So, Eric, wouldn't it be smart for me to say, hey, if you're tired of living in 21 degree cold freezing weather and you're ready to move to Florida, she's building our content, right? Go to the next one. Maybe talk about building codes. Give us a video on basic idea what it's like to build an addition on a house, adding a shed or a pool in the Tampa, Florida area, of course. Okay, cool. That's pretty niched. But you know who that does speak to? Homeowners, right, Eric?
Yep. People that are looking to build or, have trouble doing it where they're at. I mean, New York and California are like the worst building permit pulling places to be.
Yep. I would like to hear more content on current and future master plan communities with lagoons. That's pretty niche, but we've sold quite a few lagoon properties. So what does that tell me? Keep doing what we're doing over there because it's working, right? An idea for videos that could do in 2025. Why choose Florida? That is an excellent title, by the way, given to us by somebody who's watching our channel. And you should talk about, is it better and different from other states that Florida has competition with and people moving there, like North Carolina, South Carolina. Thanks. I've been watching for a year now, and your videos make me want to move sooner. Wonderful example. Okay. Next one. I live in Myrtle Beach. It's really not comparable to anywhere in Florida. I would say budget is the biggest reason. Can't wait to make it the rest of the way to paradise. So this is someone who still wants to come and hasn't been able to do it because of the cost of living. That's what she actually said there, right? All right, cost of living. I've been watching since I found your channel about 7 months ago. I listened to your live stream. I'm away to work the following day. Forgive me if you've already made videos on these topics. Hold on, we're gonna get to this in a second. Number one, neighborhoods that would be great, best for active lifestyle. And I know you have a bike trail that goes through so many cities, but does it go through near neighborhoods? Neighborhoods near city provided pickleball courts without HOA fees. You can see that kind of becomes a habit. Number two, Gulf versus Atlantic. So we're on the Gulf Coast. That's why that was brought up. Other than that, keep doing what you're doing. All right. I not Eric, we can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Right. In real time. Right. I went to our community last week and I asked them, you can do this on Instagram. You can do this on TikTok. You can do this on Facebook. You can do this in your email. You could literally email your database and say, what type of content is important to you? You can give them prompts if you like, but what I wouldn't want to do is season the oats, so to speak. I want the raw and the real. Like, hey, it'd mean the world to me if you could answer this question. Right. I want to be of value to you. Can you help me understand what that looks like? What type of content are you looking from me specifically? They'll answer you. They will answer you. So ask your network. Ask your network. So we've talked about the people, processes, and the systems and the processes so far. Now let's talk about the people. Who are the people? Who are the people? Well, if you don't have any people, and we all start at no people. What I mean by that is you wear all the hats, and that may be you today, and that's okay. You may be a solo agent who has no interest in ever joining a team or building a team or any of that. Cool. You may be a team leader. You may be in a team. You may be an assistant. And I'm here to remind everyone, if you don't have an assistant, you are one. And I think even though people who have assistants will tell you they're still assistants in certain parts of their own life. So like you never get away from it. But when it comes to leverage, having somebody there to help you. Now again, we just started talking about AI assistants in the marketplace. This is going to become a reality very soon for a lot of people at low or no cost. So just keep your eye on that. And then lastly, who else, right? The big thing here is like, if you're somebody who is, apprehensive or struggling to get started or struggling to stay consistent, and why that, we explain why that is important. Eric said that one of the clients reached out to us because of the amount of videos that he had, his consistency in the showing up in the marketplace. That's extremely valuable. People want to, they have to know, like, and trust you, right? So that consistency important. Get an accountability partner. This community, again, is a great example. If you look in that chat, you look in the conversations with people, you can see, right? You can see where these people are. You can see who those people are trying to accomplish this. Go get in the school community, right? And if you're wondering what we're talking about here, we have a school community. You can just pull out your phone right now. If you're on it, you're not gonna be able to do that, but you can just go, or you can go right to Real Estate for YouTube agents. I'm sorry, YouTube for real estate agents, right inside of school, and we'll pop up. And in there, you're gonna see we've got a classroom of these live streams that is built out. It's a perfect path, so you can go from I've never made a video before to acquiring clients. And we have the YouTube channel, which you're probably on with us now. That's the ways to connect with us. But when you boil this thing all down, right? You want endless content ideas. You want new content ideas. You need systems. So again, we recommended Google Alerts. That's free. Readwise.io, which is a paid subscription, but it does so much more than just allow you to sign up for vlogs to be delivered to one resource. Trust me, it is amazing in that respect. We talked about ChatGTP. That's a great resource also. Processes. Make sure you're scheduling your research time. And then asking your network what type of content they would like to see from you. Again, you can do that on social. You can do that on YouTube and live streams. You can do that in your email. You can call people if you really wanted to do it. Give them a text message. Don't care. And then we talked about the people. You are going to be the person. If you're a solo agent, your assistant, you can have them do these things, set this up for you. YouTube is a wonderful resource. It's not just a way to learn how to do YouTube for real estate agents. You can send your assistants out to learn how to hook up things like Reader and ChatGTP. It's awesome that way. Okay. And then last but not least, having an accountability partner. And you can find those over in our school community. And we're grateful for you guys to be part of that. I think there's like 150-ish right now. Eric, how many people are in there right now? I haven't looked.
What are we up to? About 145?
145. Okay, we're at 145. We'd love to hit that 150. But again, it's free, y'all. Jump in that community. These videos are pinned in there. Again, the exact path we took to get from 0 to where we're at now. And excited to have you as part of that community. If you know an agent who is aspiring to get into YouTube for real estate, this is the place to send them, man. This is a great place to send them. So, Eric, we're going to wrap up today. Any final words for the community here before we jump off?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good, nuggets on where to find information and just really get the gears turning. But, don't forget that you got to be the filter of this. People are throwing spaghetti at the wall, or you're kind of floundering, in that. Go back to the last training in here, the first 5 videos. Okay. That's your pillar. All right. Those are the type of videos that you want to make. And remember, this is YouTube's SEO. You want to be able to make content that people are searching for about moving to a new area.
Yep.
They're not necessarily worried about, the new coffee shop, right? That's going in down the road. It's not that that's not useful. That's a completely different type of content than people moving to a new area really care about, right? That's too niche, right? That's for locals, as opposed to, what do I need to know about moving to this area?
Yeah.
Where are the good schools? Is it safe? What's the real estate prices? What are the communities that I should be looking at? Where are the pros and cons of living in all these areas? All right. Keep it high level. All right. And then niche down, when needed, right? Go broad geographically, and then you can really pinpoint into communities on these as well.
Yeah. Your ideal client at that point. All right. That's great perspective that Eric just shared with you guys. And you can see inside of the classroom right now. So this is the school community. It looks just like Facebook if you've never seen it before, without ads. It's awesome. You have direct contact with your peers. There's the classroom. This is the path, man. Jump in, start here, do the YouTube for Real Estate Masterclass, then jump into the Jumpstart, then go to the first 5 videos. Like Eric was saying, this is the last one we did. Then you can come into new content, ideas for demand. We're doing that today. That'll be linked in here as well. If you're someone who does need editing services, we do have those. Okay. So that is not free, just so everybody knows. We have to pay somebody for their time. So do you. That's the way that process works. But we're not in here selling courses. If you need editing services, we have that available to you, FYI. But this is in the classroom. You can see the calendar. Today was scheduled. Our next meeting will go up. It will be scheduled as well. So when you jump into there, you can just see what's going on today. Okay, cool. It's scheduled from 11 to noon. Here's the link to it. That goes directly back to the YouTube channel where you guys are at now. And then once the video is actually posted, you'll be able to find that in the classroom again. You'll come inside here and it'll be linked on the right-hand side, which is awesome. So you can save it in your calendar too. I don't know if anybody else caught that, Eric. That's a pretty cool feature, whether it's Google, Apple, or Outlook. Really, really nice tool. School is so simple to use. If you're looking for a member in a specific area, this is all searchable, man. So as an example, if I type in Atlanta up top, look at that. Immediately pulls up Atlanta agents. So if you're looking for a referral partner because you use YouTube videos and you have people that relocate, Eric, we've got listings right now from other agents who do the same thing, and we've got listing referrals out. Right? It's another byproduct of this business. It's not even just the meetings that we go on. it's the referrals. It's the listings, right? How cool is it to have listings in states that you don't practice in? Pretty dope, right? So just a really cool function of that inside the community here. So again, you can go to calendar, you can go to members, search for them directly. You can go to the leaderboard in here. It's kind of like gamified. So for the people who are most engaged and engaging, you can read up on how school does this. We may do some giveaways around this, but ultimately you get to put your name at the top of the board. It shows you that. And then if you ever want to share the community, you can do it right from the about page with someone who is maybe interested in YouTube for real estate. Feel free to share this out with them. But it's a wonderful community inside of here. You'll see the comments, the chats, the questions people have about what's going on here. Hey, I'm new here. we'll give you guys updates on what's happening inside the community, but it's a really cool resource. And I love school. It's been a part of our life now for like almost the last 2.5 years, I think. It's been great. So happy to have you guys with us, and man, go out, sell something, have a great one. Watch your emails, watch the school community. You'll see when the next video is going to be published, and we'll bring you some more clients. Have a great day, y'all. Later.